The live stream will be starting soon. The live stream will be starting soon. The live stream will be starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to another live event here on The Blind Life. Rachel, you there?
I'm here.
Well, good morning to you as well. And I'm going to lower this so nobody's staring at me. There we go.
We're staring at you. We just don't want to stare at you twice.
Yeah, get that trippy in inner, whatever it's called, mirror mode going. But hello, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. It's been a while. So this is, I titled this Catching Up, because it's been a while for our live stream. And we figured we needed to do one.
Yeah, we're way past due.
Yeah. So we figured we could talk about what's been going on. I've got a ton of videos that have come out since the last time we did this, and some really interesting videos as of late. I've been to a bunch of conferences, going to some more conferences very near future, going to a really cool event in Washington, D.C. here in about a month or so. So yeah, so I figure we can just talk about all kinds of stuff. And if you guys are listening, you guys are watching this live, jump into the chat, and happy to start some conversations. We can talk about whatever you want to. If you have any questions, I think Rachel was saying somebody was already in there asking questions, which is awesome. So you guys, let us know. We're here just to kind of hang out for an hour or so and do whatever. What do you think? Anything to add to that, Rachel?
No, sorry. I wasn't really paying attention to what you said. I was responding in the chat.
Okay. Well, thank you. One thing, I've got a new setup in my studio. I'm going to be doing a video about my studio, a studio tour video very soon, because we've got some new furniture in here that I want to talk about. And it's allowing me to be a little bit more versatile. I had a big, giant, heavy desk in here before, and it couldn't move at all. And now I've got a moving table that I can put in different positions and turn it around for different things. And I'm really excited about it. So I think it's going to be cool. So slightly different look, a little bit different, not too much different.
Yeah, from this view, it's not too much different. Although we can see the new shelves behind you.
Yep, new shelves. So yeah.
We already have some action in the chat here, Sam.
All right.
Farming Blind with Ducks asked if we cooked breakfast in the Brava oven. LOL. Which we did not today, but I'll tell you, I love that thing. We have used it. Like, have we used our real oven since we got that? We've used the stovetop, but I don't think we've used the oven.
No, I mean, I broiled something the other day.
Can you broil in the Brava? I haven't even looked at that.
Well, you can do a sear, which I guess would kind of be the similar thing.
Kind of.
Yeah, but no, I mean, not much at all. And I figured we'd be talking about that because that's the most recent video, and I'm sure people are interested. Just FYI, I have a follow-up video coming out on Tuesday. I'm playing around with posting twice a week. So you may have noticed that I've been posting on Mondays and Tuesdays over the last 2 weeks. And I'm going to stick with that schedule going forward. Some of those might be part of the Blind Rewind series. So I did this a while back where I'm bringing back older videos. You know, I've got over 1,000 videos and live streams and all that on my channel. And some of the early stuff, I guarantee most of you have not seen. So maybe the diehard viewers have seen them, but a lot of people haven't. So I'm bringing those back as part of the Blind Rewind series. or maybe I should call it rewind blind. I don't know. But anyway, and so those will be some of the videos I'm putting out on Mondays and Tuesdays, but it's also going to be new content. So
yeah, it's the rewind videos are not replacing new content. It's in addition to.
Yeah, it's just adding extra content. But next Tuesday's video will be a full deep dive into the Brava app. So demonstrating the accessibility on the Brava app. I talked about it in this video today, but I didn't really go too deep into it. I figured it deserved its own video. So that's what Tuesday is going to be, taking a look at that.
Okay. Tabitha Van also said that she ordered a Field'em bag and can't wait to get it. I know Sam loves a good bag and he likes the Field'em bags.
Yeah.
The people at Field'em are super nice, and Sam has a really great relationship with them now because he's worked with them several times. And you know how those bags have the little like labels or patches that they Velcro on, right, Sam?
They do. Yeah.
Yeah. So they made Sam a Blind Life patch, which is kind of cool.
Yes, I'll see if I can find it real quick while we're talking.
Yeah, so that was neat. Hawaii 50 just said aloha, good morning to everyone. He also, or I don't know if it's a he or she, sorry, but said I really appreciate what you do for us out there in this community. Big hugs. So that's cool.
Awesome.
Rebecca was wondering, what did you think of the accuracy of the Weiwok 2 cane in terms of detecting overhead obstacles?
So I tested it in a couple different situations for my video. I haven't used it since then because I actually haven't used the Weiwok cane since then. But I felt that it did really well, especially larger, like tree branches, things like that. We have some similar to what I showed in the video with the playground equipment, where the equipment was up on poles or stilts, I guess, for lack of a better term. We have signs around here that are similar to that, where it's a sign on some poles and your cane could go right under or in between the poles. And it did a great job detecting that. I've tested it with glass, like, the dreaded glass wall in a mall or something like that, where, oh, I'm just going to walk right through here. But no, it's a complete glass wall. You're going to smack your face. It did a good job of detecting that too, especially when you set the distance, detection distance to one of the larger, the maximum distance, which I think is like 3 meters or something.
Okay.
I found the patches, though. I showed that. I don't know if you could see them very well, but
yeah, I mean, they're kind of small. But anyway, I just thought that was cool.
Yeah. Some Velcro patches.
Yeah. Some other things. Michael Garduno said, good morning, everyone from Boulder, Colorado.
I'm curious, Alexa, what's the time in Honolulu, Hawaii?
In Honolulu, it's 5:09 a.m.
5:09 in Hawaii. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for getting up super early and joining us.
Okay. Fierce said, I'm also visually impaired and I need a lot of stuff. I'm wondering if you were born blind.
No. Well, I mean, the mechanism was there when I was born, but it didn't trigger until I was 11 years old. That's when I was diagnosed. Mine is it's an inherited retinal condition, and it's a mutated gene, so a recessive gene that both parents carried. And so it was there, but it didn't trigger until puberty, I guess you could say. So I was 20/20 until I was about 11, and that's where I started losing my vision.
Okay. And Carrie on Accessibility said, hey, Sam, Rachel, and hey, everybody. It's good to see you, Carrie.
Hey, Carrie.
Oh, she also asked, does the Brava app have dark mode?
No, and that's one of my feedback to them as well, is that they need to put that in there, and they could easily do it because it's very, and I mentioned this in the video, and I was very excited that it's very low vision, accessible with high contrast, and I love that. High contrast text font, big color contrast buttons. Just really, they made a lot of really smart decisions with that for low vision. And so throwing in a dark mode would not, it would be pretty easy, I think, says the guy that doesn't have to program any of that. And, you know,
But they've been very responsive with the feedback you've given them, haven't they?
oh, they're fantastic. And I didn't kind of go into this too. I mentioned that, you know, I met Zach originally at the ATIA conference earlier this year, and then they were at the CSUN conference also. And I love that. I think it proves to their dedication to accessibility. I mean, obviously the underlying thing is they want to sell more product, but still they are actively focused on accessibility. And so much so that every time I reach out to them through email, they are right back. Zach and another gentleman named Travis, they are great to get back to me, and they're like, all right, we've already started looking at this. We're gonna get this taken care of right away. You know, every time I find something wrong with the app's accessibility, which, as I said in the video, it's not much at all. It's some rendering issues because I've got my text set so high. And then there's that one place, anytime you load up a new recipe, VoiceOver just gets stuck. But if you just touch somewhere on the screen, it solves the problem. It brings the focus out of wherever it's stuck, and it puts it back on the stuff in the middle, and then you're good to go. And then the way that they had to do the accessibility with the app, the way they had to set up this app, there's a couple places where you know, you have to do vertical swiping on VoiceOver to navigate through some areas, and it takes a second to figure that out. But once you do and you get the hang of it, the entire app pretty much is fully accessible. It's great.
Sorry, working on something here. Okay. So I was trying to, the blinds down here kept slamming against the window, and I didn't know if everyone could hear it. So I was trying to move them, but I moved them too far. Anyway, sorry about that. The blind kitchen lady says hello as well.
Oh, hello, blind kitchen lady. You guys check out her TikTok and all that, and go visit her shop in Maryland.
Rahul Kumar Pradhan. Sorry, I know I butchered your name, and I apologize. I don't think you know the answer to this question, Sam, but I thought maybe someone in the comments might. He said, can you suggest some online job to earn money working from home for low vision people?
No, I mean, I don't. You know, it's probably something to do with data entry, maybe telemarketing. Whenever I hear things like that, I recommend people reach out to some of these larger national organizations, because I guarantee they have better resources when it comes to that type of thing.
Yeah.
And if you're here in the U.S., you know, talk to your voc rehab counselor if you have one, or if your state is any good with that. Some are not, unfortunately.
DJ Dash says, watching from South Africa. Welcome.
Awesome.
Tabitha asked if you can show more walking videos using the Navi badge bag. Do you have the Navi badge bag?
Yeah, I think that's the one that the earlier commenter was, or chatter was talking about, waiting on their badge, their bag to come in. That was probably the Navi badge. Yeah, probably. I could probably do something like that. Maybe some shorts showing those off.
I'm going to mention this out loud because Carrie, you might know more about this. Julio had asked earlier what happened with the what was it called, Sam? That app?
SuperSense app.
Yeah, the SuperSense app. It said it looks like it's not available in the Google Play Store anymore. And Sam wasn't aware. So Carrie, do you know anything about that, or does anyone else know anything about that? Their website is still up and looks active, but I don't know. I don't know what happened with that.
Yeah, I haven't checked the Play Store, but I just fired it up on my phone, and it's working. But I already had it installed on mine. You do need a subscription. That's kind of a bummer to unlock all the features, but it seemed like it was working, so I don't know.
We've got a hello from India. Jaden M also said hello. Keep up the great work. Farming Blind with Duck said that from what I saw in the oven, the price point is pretty expensive, and yeah, it is. And then he said that most anything accessible usually is, and that's true. Yeah, that's the only complaint that I think we've had about it. obviously when I'm commenting on it, I'm not talking about the low vision portion of things because I'm not low vision, but just the actual functionality of it. One of the things that's super nice about it is it comes with, which Sam got like the deluxe version that comes with some extra pans, but it does at least come with the trays, right, Sam?
Yeah, the metal and the glass tray.
Yeah. They are literally the most non-stick surface I've ever experienced in my life. It's like stuff just slides off of it. So it makes cleanup so easy. I've really loved that part of it. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not trying to sell this oven. I don't know why I'm talking about it so much. We've just used it a lot lately.
and I will say, it's expensive, but it's a countertop smart oven. I mean, the expense doesn't have to do with accessibility. It has to do with the fact that it's a full on oven that does all these different things and is a smart oven and all of this. In fact, somewhere on the website, it talks about the specs of this thing, and it's got it's got a pretty beefy computer built into the smart oven. I mean, it's got like a graphics card, and it's expensive, yeah, but it doesn't really have to do with the accessibility in this case. You're absolutely right. Most products for us are super expensive, but
yeah, it's really interesting. There's no window on the door to see in, but there's a camera with a screen, so that's crazy. Carrie asked if we still use parchment paper. No, we don't use anything, and it just like we did like marinated chicken, which can often be like a nightmare to clean. It just like literally just washed right off. It was crazy.
Yep. Yeah, I did banana bread, and it just popped right out of the loaf pan.
Yeah, you know what we should try to do this weekend, Sam? It said you could do hard-boiled eggs inside of it, and we should try that because I love hard-boiled eggs. Okay, Firas, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Had a couple of questions. Number one, are you a voiceover user? And number two, wondering what Apple technology do you use for everyday life, and what are you hoping to work for in the future?
So I am I do use VoiceOver on my iPhone and my iPad. I use TalkBack on my Android. I'm kind of a hybrid, so I'm using magnification and screen reader. But what was the second part of the question? Sorry, I was trying to look up SuperSense and I didn't see it in the Play Store. He might be right.
Yeah, Carrie said she doesn't see it. I tried to look at it too. Carrie, it's not in there because that's 4 of us now that have looked and it's not there.
Yeah, I wonder what's up with that.
Yeah, it said the other question
what other things?
was what Apple technology do you use for everyday life, and what are you hoping to work for in the future?
I use my Apple. I wear my Apple Watch, but literally, I use it just for a watch. I'm the most the most boring Apple Watch owner ever. I don't use it for any of the cool stuff it can do. And then I have my iPhone. My iPhone is my primary phone. My Android is my business phone. But I don't know. I mean, I have an iPad, but it's more I use it for watching movies on airplanes. That's probably the most that I use it for. I don't know. As far as what I would like to see in the future, I'm excited.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna. I'm hopeful for the Apple Vision Pro. I know Carrie did a review of it as well, and I think we kind of came to the same conclusion that it's not there yet, but it has potential to be amazing in the future. And so I'm hopefully they will do something with that for us.
Okay, we also have Blindly Fabulous said hi from tuning in from London. Malik said, I'm waiting for stem cell therapy. Are you? Which Sam's not waiting on anything. I would say is kind of his general philosophy, right?
Yeah, you could say I'm keeping my eyes on it. Waka waka waka. No, I'm kind of staying up to date with all the stuff that's going on, but if you know my channel, you know that it's not what I focus on. I'm more focused on adapting and living with, but keeping watching it. I work a lot with the Foundation Fighting Blindness, and I'm a patient advocate for most of these pharmaceutical things that are doing treatments, clinical treatments and all that, trials. And there's some exciting stuff. Let me tell you, there's, I was talking to someone recently that I was diagnosed at age 11. So that was 86, showing my age. And ever since then, people have always talked about, oh, there's going to be a cure. There's going to be a cure. And so much so that you eventually get jaded and there's never going to be a cure. And I still don't think there ever will be a cure. In the sense of I'm going to take this magic pill or this magic shot and I'm going to be, wake up in the morning and I'll be able to see 100%. We'll never have that. But for the first time in my life, there's legitimate talk about,
Preserving.
actual treatments and maintaining vision and even getting vision back. And for, the younger generation recently diagnosed, it's incredibly encouraging. It's very exciting.
Yeah, we went to the Stargart Summit back in, what was that, March or February, whenever that was.
It was March,
And one of the panels they had was with researchers. There were, I can't remember, 3 or 4, and it was crazy, really. And that was just for Stargart. That they were just talking about, treatments that are in the trial right now, just for Stargart. And there's multiple, and it is incredible. The advances that have happened in the last 5 years is like astonishing.
Yeah, so you could imagine what's going to happen the next 10 years. There's a new treatment for RP coming out very, very soon. I'm not really allowed to talk about it yet, so I apologize, but I can say that. And I'll try to keep people up to date on this stuff as things happen. But once again, it's not really my focus, the focus of my channel.
Yeah, I think Sam has always felt that it's important that you live your life right now and not wait to live your life until there's a cure. Like, figure out what you need to figure out to live it now. So.
Yeah, they call it chasing the cure, and it's a real thing. And people will spend decades, and the next thing you know, it's like all that time is gone, and you haven't really done anything. So we focus on trying to get people out there living their best blind life.
Okay, Joshua Shram said hi from Canada, and Shake said hi from Malaysia. What AI app that like ChatGPT real-time, English is not their first language, I don't think, but basically asking about AI apps like ChatGPT, real-time video, but free.
Real-time video, but free. So you can get it on well, it's not free, but you can get it on the Meta Ray-Bans. Carrie did a video. I'm going to have a video very soon. It's still part of the early access. So once you buy the glasses, it's free. It doesn't cost anything to get the real-time video. I don't know. Gemini has it, but that's part of the advanced as well, I think. If you're looking for just real-time conversational AI that doesn't have any kind of limit, ChatGPT, for the free version, there's a limit on how much you can do each month. The Ally app from InVision has been great. It's ALLY, and I think it's ALLY.me is the website. Ally.me. Try that. That's been a lot of fun. I've been testing it for a couple years now, and it's been a lot of fun. And then, but I think everything else is you got to pay for, unfortunately, right now.
Okay, Sean Howard asked, "What are your thoughts on KNFB Reader?" And it says 1025, but I think that's probably supposed to say 2025.
2025.
Yeah.
KNFB Reader. That's no longer KNFB Reader. I think it's called Simple something or other nowadays. I honestly have not used it in years. I've got it on my phone. At the time, I did a head-to-head between KNFB and Seeing AI, and KNFB came out on top as an apples to apples comparison. But like I said, I haven't used it in years and years and years. It's hard to say because I've gone to ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT for everything. I'll take a picture of my mail and I'll say, what is this and why is it important to me? and and it says, "Oh, this looks like a bill for invoice from the IRS. Looks like you owe them money, so it's probably important." I'm like, all right, we're going to put that in the important pile. So that's the thing. It's like I prefer the AI options that will summarize, and then if I want it read out to me top to bottom, word by word, then I will prompt it to do that. But I would rather it summarize first, and it's like, okay, is this something I care about, or just give me the important information? I cut out all the fluff, and I don't think, like I said, I haven't used it in years, but I don't think KNFB Reader does that. I think it's just a start to finish kind of old school OCR. Somebody let me know if I'm wrong on that, but yeah.
Carrie said that Gemini Live with video is free on some phones, and Gemini AI Studio on web is available but with a time limit, but it's not super accessible. It's not a super accessible interface.
Yeah, I have Gemini on my Samsung, and I don't have the video option. We haven't tried it on your Pixel yet, Rachel, but we should do that. I was just looking at this the other day.
Okay. Gammy Rose says, I'm new to the VIP world since 2020.
Welcome.
What can you tell me about using a cane while still having vision? I'm on the fence about using it. I can tell you it's a game changer for Sam.
Yeah. So this is my favorite one of my favorite topics. Because I'm right there too. I don't have central vision. I have peripheral, and with peripheral, that means I can see all the stuff around me. I can see, cars. I can see well enough to walk on the sidewalk. I'm not bumping into doorways, that sort of thing. Usually, my problem is depth perception and seeing detail. So I can walk down the sidewalk and there's a manhole cover in the middle of the sidewalk. I can see that from pretty good distance away, but is it sticking up? Am I going to trip on it? Do I need to step up, or is it flat? That's what I can't tell because I don't have the depth perception and the detail. So I use my cane. Maybe about 10% is for light probing, which is what we would call that. Checking to see how deep the stairs step is, how deep the curb is. Light probing. And then literally 90% is for identification. And that's really where it helps out the most. That's also where a lot of people struggle with. That's what they, because they don't want to be identified as being visually impaired. But when you finally embrace that, it just opens up a world of possibilities. So much so that now, like, I had to run into, we went to UPS the other day. I had to pick up something, and I was like, I just ran in without my cane. And it's fine there because they know me. I'm picking up packages so often that they know me. They're like, "Hey, Mr. Seavey, welcome." But sometimes when I run into a place without my cane, there's a little pang of anxiety that flares up. Like, oh no, because I might run into a situation where I have to have that awkward conversation of, no, I can't see this. I know it looks like I can see this, but I can't see this. Can you help me? And I hate that. But if I'm holding my cane, there's no awkward conversation. Everybody's super willing to help and whatever I need, and read menus for me and read signs and walk me to the bathroom instead of just saying it's over there. Yeah, you see that sign over there? Like, no, I don't see that sign. Well, why don't you see that sign? Things like that. So the cane, the rule of thumb for the cane is, if there's any situation at all where a cane can be helpful for you, then you are ready to start using a cane. And I would also say, so I have videos on canes. I have videos on all about the white cane, all about all the different types of tips. And I talk about when is the good time to use certain types of canes, certain types of tips, who should be using this type of cane versus this type of cane. And so I would recommend the slimline canes from Ambutech. They're not full-on mobility canes. They're more for identification and light probing. So they're smaller, they're thinner, they're more lightweight. And if you get a multi-section folding version of that, it can fold up nice and small. It can fit in a back pocket. So when you need it, you just pull it out and use it. And then if you don't need it, you put it away. Yeah. So I check out those.
Yeah, Sam keeps a cane, folding cane, folded up inside. Like our car door has like a little pocket on the side, and he keeps one in there that way it's with him if he needs it, because you don't always grab a cane every time you walk out of the house, because he
No.
doesn't use it. He doesn't use it for navigation, so he doesn't he's not dependent on the cane to get around. So it's not like his magnifier, for instance. He never doesn't have a magnifier on it. He probably has his magnifier on him right now, even though he's in the house sitting at the desk. It's in his pocket or on the out on
Got it in
the
my hand right here.
yeah, it's on the desktop next to him. He always has that right with him. But the cane, he's not to that point. Maybe that someday he will be. But having it in the car is really helpful, because I mean, you grab that frequently when
Yeah.
we're big on, since I'm the one driving, and just because I don't like to, I make Sam run into places a lot. And so him having the cane with him is helpful, because I mean, I think there's a lot of scenarios where it's helpful. Like UPS is probably a good example. You walk in and you can't tell if the person has made eye contact with you and smiling like they're ready to help you, but they just didn't give you a verbal cue
Right,
that they're
yeah.
ready to help you. And you could just stand there staring at them and them staring at you, and it's just kind of awkward. Whereas if you have your cane, they're going to assume you cannot see them, and they're going to say, "Hi, how can I help you?"
Right. Yeah.
It just skips over those little awkward moments.
Yeah, yeah. And things like, when we go to pick up carryout, they usually have a place near the register that has a shelf where all the carryout items are. But I walk through the door, I have no idea where that is. And so, I could, like you said, stand there awkwardly feeling like an idiot forever, not holding a cane, or I could have my cane and be like, "Can I help you?" Like, "Yeah, I need to pick up a carryout." And then the same thing. And like, they're like, "What's the name?" And they'll come over and they'll read the bags for me to find the one I'm looking for, instead of just saying, "Yeah, name's on the bag, it's over there." So yeah, there's countless places that it's helpful,
Yeah.
especially at night. I am full on blind at night, so I use it for mobility at night. That's for sure.
Okay, Sam, Gammy asked, what was the company for the slim line?
Ambutech, Ambutech. That's a Canadian company, and they are one of the largest manufacturers of canes internationally. I did a whole video recently, a couple months ago, going over pretty much everything they sell. Super awesome company. It's a very small company, actually, surprisingly, as prolific as they are in the cane world. It's a relatively small company, but yeah, Ambutech.
Okay. Yeah, and someone else asked, what cane do you have? Well, Sam has like a cane hoarding issue, so he has every cane.
It's not a problem. I can stop at any time. I have like 30 canes. I have
So
hooks.
he's not brand loyal,
No, but most of them probably are Ambutech.
are they?
Yeah. Just because they have a wide variety, and they're super high quality. You can also get colored canes if you want to kind of spice it up a little bit and get a personalized cane color. You can do that. There's a whole conversation about that, whether that's good or not, but you have the option.
Yeah. And that's like his everyday cane. He does have some like specialty canes that he uses as well. Like, what was that one called? The Omni something?
That's the tip. The OmniSense tip
Oh yeah.
is a special tip. But I have like the all-terrain cane,
Oh yeah.
which is more heavy duty for like hiking and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Blindly Fabulous asked, have you tried Speechify? Said, I'm not sure if the features are free, but I think it sounds like a great accessibility tool for different purposes without having to get too many different apps. Is that something you've tried?
I have not played around with it. I know about it. I think if Duck's still on here, I think that's one of the apps he recommends to people. It's not bad. Do you need a subscription? I can't remember if you need a subscription or not for Speechify.
Yeah, I don't know. They said they weren't sure if the features were free or not.
Yeah. Maybe Duck can chime in if he's still on here, and if that is the one he's talking about. Incidentally, Duck, I'll plug for the channel. Duck is Farming with Duck. Jason is his real name, but everybody calls him Duck. He's one of our channel members, and that's where we talk about this kind of stuff, is during our monthly members only Zoom calls. So if you would like to become a member of The Blind Life, there's information in the video descriptions. You can also go to the membership tab of my YouTube channel to learn about that. You can click the little join button that's just below all of my videos, right next to the subscribe button, which you should also press. But it's super affordable. It's like either 99 cents a month or $4.99 a month gets you a membership. It's a way to help out the channel, to give back to the channel, and we appreciate that. But it also gets you access to some of these extra perks, like our monthly members only Zoom call, which a lot of the members refer to it as a support call, because that's what we end up doing. We sit there and talk and help support each other and all of that. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, I know you love it.
Yeah.
By the way, I just noticed I'm watching this on my laptop, and instead of saying join, it says see perks. Although that's probably because I've already joined. I bet it's because
you're
I'm
a
already
member.
Yeah, never mind. Because when I realized when I hover over it, it says manage membership. So just ignore me, everybody.
Rachel was the OG member. She was the first member.
Of course I was.
Because we had to test it out.
Because you made me.
Yeah. Paying myself.
Whale shark emoji did say good question, Gammy Rowe, about the cane, and they appreciated your answer on that, Sam.
Good. Yeah. Like I said, I've done videos on this, so check those out. I've got a whole TikTok series on the white cane. But one thing I'll mention, one thing going back to the membership thing, a really cool hack. I'm pretty sure my sister Tawny still uses this hack. Is she signs up for the Google Rewards app, which it's you just take surveys. Every now and then you'll get a little notification that there's a survey. It's usually tied to places you've been. Like if you go to McDonald's, then a day later you'll get a survey from McDonald's, which is a little creepy, but and it's just like 6 or so questions. And if you take the survey, the Google Rewards will pay you. And it's like, you get 10 cents or a quarter per survey, depending on how long it is. So she does that. She uses that app to pay for her membership to my channel. So it doesn't cost her anything. She's getting free money through that app, and then she just uses that to pay for the membership.
She never joins the membership Zoom calls, does she?
No.
I wonder why.
Nope.
I'm surprised, actually.
I'm sorry, Jim and I decided to chime in and tell me about Google memberships. Nope. Nobody's talking to you.
Okay, we'll move on to another comment in the chat. Elliot said, I'm a 34-year-old Southern Hoosier. Their vision impairment is obvious due to their pupil shape, and they wanted to know what's a weird question that people ask. So everyone in the comments should jump in on this too. What's a weird question that people have asked you about your vision? He said, like, have you ever tried glasses? To how can you compete in the NRA when you're blind and stuff like that? So chime in the comments. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Tabitha Jackson said there's a YouTube channel called Blind on the Move that shows different cane tips in different environments. That's a good tip.
He's on TikTok as well. He's an O&M specialist.
Oh, the Blind on the Move?
Yeah.
Okay. The question that is very frequent, Amber is asking, why are accessible items so darn expensive? It seems like even for the most basic tech, you need over $800.
So I get this question. This is the number one comment, and I bet Carrie can relate to this. This is literally the number one comment on my videos whenever I do a review of something. So I made a video years ago. Maybe that should be one of my blind rewind videos I put out, but it was answering this question. Why is assistive technology so expensive? And that was the first half of the video, was talking about it's just basic economics. It's supply and demand. We're a relatively small market. And so, if I was going to create a new product, especially from scratch, if I'm not using existing hardware, then I've got to get investors. I've got to get the capital up to do the research and development, the manufacturing, the marketing, the distribution, all of that is so expensive to get that new product out to the market that you've got to offset that cost somehow. And so because it's such a small market, you can't spread the cost out over a wide swath of people. That's why people are like, my smartphone costs $300. Why doesn't this? I was like, yeah, but they're selling smartphones to the entire world, so they can spread out the cost. They're not selling video magnifiers to as many people, so it's just cost more. It's just basic economics. There's no big conspiracy. People say, well, the government will pay for it, that's why it costs so much. And maybe there's something to that, but I really think it just comes down to supply and demand. And then if they want to improve that, well, they've got to pay their employees, they've got to pay the R&D to improve it, they've got to pay the manufacturer. It kind of starts over again. So these things just cost a lot of money. But the second half of that video was talking about ways to afford these, different options. Going through OVR or Department of Voc Rehab, whatever it's called in your state, getting personal grants. There's a lot of states that offer personal grants. There's a lot of organizations like NFB and stuff that offer technology grants that you can apply for. There's crowdsourcing. I mean, there's putting it on using a credit card and paying it off over time. It's maybe not the best option, but it is an option. So, check out that video, I guess, if you for more information.
Okay. Javier Diaz said hello all.
Hello, Javier, another channel member.
Farming Blind with Duck said, I'm not sure if this is a typo because it has F and then Peekaboo is the app I use. I don't know if it's Peekaboo or Speakaboo or
Speakaboo, yeah.
Okay.
That's the one he uses.
Yeah. B said, can you provide sites for people who want to go back to the workforce? Unfortunately, I don't think you really have anything like that, but I think the main suggestion is to try to reach out. If you're in the US, try to reach out to your state's vocational rehab department, organization, whatever. Or, if you have a local lighthouse for the blind, or, another organization that may be good to reach out to or check out their website would be either ACB, the American Council of the Blind, or NFB, Federation of the Blind?
National Federation of the Blind, yeah.
Yeah, they might have some resources on their website for stuff like that. But I don't think, Sam, you don't really have like a good list of websites or anything about that, do you?
No. And before I would have said the government, a lot of great positions in the government, but maybe not so much anymore. Because the CIA was always had a booth at ATIA and CSUN and stuff, trying to get people to come work for the government.
Really? The CIA?
Yeah. Yeah, the CIA did. National Treasure, Treasure Association. Yeah. But no, Voc Rehab would be a good place to start, anyways. Department of Rehabilitation Services, whatever it's called in your area.
Yeah, I wish that was more the same from state to state, because it's called different things in different places. Rocky Roads went back to, speaking of canes, I had my cane destroyed by an elevator door closing on it. Yikes.
Oh, no.
Mike is from Austria, just in Europe, and said, big fan of your show. Thanks for your work. They're completely blind. William Davis is asking, what's the best cane for everyday use? And I think that is so dependent on what your needs are. It's hard to...
Yeah, if like I said, if you're a full-time cane user, mobility cane user, I would look at the Ambutech. They're heavy-duty mobility canes. If you're looking for something more lightweight that maybe gives a little bit better feedback, you could look at it's the type of cane that all the NFB people use, but it's made by Chris Parks. Chris, like the first name, Parks, Parks. Chris Parks Designs is actually the name of the company. He's a crazy guy. But anyway, if you need it for just light probing, like I would say, I would look at the slimline canes from Ambutech as well. if you just need something as an identifier.
Okay. Do you know any advice that can print Braille stripes? I have only some manual thing and it does not work very well.
Can do what? Print?
Print Braille. It says stripes, maybe strips. I'm not sure what.
Strips maybe. For like, I wonder if it's for like labeling things.
Yeah,
APH.
give us a little more information in the comments, and we'll come back to that.
Yeah, do that.
Blindly Fabulous was answering the question we asked and said, people always ask why I haven't tried an eye transplant. Like that's something that's readily available.
Yeah, you can get it done down at the mall.
Farming Blind. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Are you thirsty? I feel like all you are done since you got on here is drink coffee and drink Gatorade.
That's one Gatorade down. I've got 4 more over here.
No, you don't.
No, we only bought the one.
Did you enjoy it?
It was very good. I love the orange Gatorade. That's my guilty pleasure.
Farming Blind with Duck said that it's the best $1 membership he has. No shipping required.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Iggy Seki says, is anybody based in Chicago? It'd be good to connect with people who are in a similar situation. So if there's anyone else in the Chicago area, speak up in the chat here.
Yeah, and if you haven't checked it out, Chicago Lighthouse for the Blind is a big organization. They probably have some support groups and stuff too that might be a great place to meet people.
Yeah, they probably have like little recreational activities and stuff too, maybe where you could meet other people too.
What's his face? Juan Alcazar lives in Chicago now.
Oh yeah.
I haven't talked to him in a while. I should.
Yeah, he's not on here today.
No. He got married and moved to Chicago.
Nico says, your channel has helped me so much. Thank you. Question, have you heard of the Smart Cane? It says Smart Cane Glide. I don't know if it's supposed to be glide or guide. And do you think Smart Canes will soon replace guide dogs?
So, trigger warning. No. So yeah, the Glide it's I don't know if I would call it a smart cane necessarily. It's more like a robot guide dog. I put it into that kind of category. There's a couple companies working on robot guide dogs right now, in fact, but and they always have that. They kind of lean into that motto of replacing the guide dog, and some of these haptic wearable devices have the same motto of replacing the white cane. And I will flat out tell them, you're never going to replace the guide dog. You're never going to replace the white cane, because these things they're tried and true and have worked for millennia. They're going to work, but Glide, yeah, I've tried it a couple times at different conferences. It was really buggy when I tried it. This was CSUN last year. I didn't try it this year. It's interesting. So it if anybody is unfamiliar, it reminds me a lot of the old popper toy that you had when you were a kid, that you would push and had little plastic globe with the balls in it, and they would pop up as you walked. That's exactly what it reminds me of. And you provide the forward movement, the forward momentum. So you're pushing it and it is steering. So it's using cameras and probably different LiDAR and all kinds of stuff to navigate a path in front of you, and it steers and you just kind of push and follow it. So it's an interesting take on it. It almost works similarly to a guide dog, where it chooses which way to go. But I've got my issues with it. I've got my, or not issues, I've got my questions. Like it's rather small. So how is it going to work with going over like thresholds? Like you're walking into an airport or something and you've got the sliding doors, and is it going to go over that threshold? How is it going to work with uneven terrain, basically? I've only seen it used in a conference hall where it's nice flat carpet. It won't go up and down stairs. you know, which is, so you're going to have to pick this thing up and lug it up a set of stairs. It won't, you know, if you get into a bus or something like that, it's not just going to jump in the bus like a guide dog will. You're going to have to pick it up and carry it in. So I've got my concerns.
Carrie said that's exactly what she keeps saying. It's a kid's popper vacuum toy.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah, they clarified exactly. Printing Braille strips for labeling things.
Okay, so there is, I know American Printing House for the Blind has it's kind of like a labeler, like a P-Touch, Brother P-Touch labeler kind of thing, but it does Braille. It's expensive though, from what I remember. I'd look on Amazon, honestly. I think I saw one on Amazon once before. That'd probably be a good place to start. Just search on Amazon for Braille label maker and see what pops up.
Yeah, Cosmic Carp said for small labels, a Braille label maker with stick-on labels. It's just like a standard label maker, but with Braille. Said you would need a large embosser to print out labels otherwise.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of companies. The cheapest one I've seen, a embosser printer, is from Irie AT, and it's called the Braille Buddy. And it's just a couple $100, I think.
Joker Owl said, "Hey Sam, it feels like forever since you've done a live stream," which is absolutely true. Do you
because
know?
It is.
Yeah, because it has been. That's why it feels that way. Do you know if the Weiwok Cane 2 has the same as the original or more? I'm assuming they are talking about cost. If it costs the same as the original or if it's more.
I think it's more. I think just like everything nowadays, it's more expensive. I don't remember the actual price, but it's also an upgrade in every way. Like literally everything they did to it is better than the previous model. So, I mean, you know, we'd like everything to be super cheap, but I can kind of understand why it's more expensive if it is.
DJ Poncho said, and still talking about the Weiwok 2, is it okay for really crowded situations?
I mean, yes and no. So that's one of those things. It's kind of, you know, it will identify obstacles in front of you. So you have to kind of think about use cases, like where is that going to be good and where is that going to be bad? I'm assuming in a crowd of people, that's going to be super annoying because it's just going to be going off left and right. So you're in a situation like that, you figure that you're in a crowd of other people. There's probably no low-hanging branches and things like that you're going to run into. So I wouldn't even have the sonar vibration or sound or whatever turned on. I would just be using the cane as a traditional cane in that situation. But one thing that where you can kind of use it as in a slightly different way that I've heard people talk about is standing in a line, waiting in a line, because it's going to be vibrating, but then as the person in front of you moves up, it's going to stop vibrating. So you know that that person's scooted up and it's your turn to scoot up too. So kind of like thinking about using it in a slightly different way.
Okay. JP Patterson was saying a few months ago, did you say you compete with the NRA? That was not Sam. That was someone in the chat. I think it was Elliot, maybe, mentioned that. Ooh, sorry, wind just blew over a water bottle.
Yeah.
I'm still looking here.
Actually, while you're doing that, I'm going to show an image here. That I posted this. Let's see, is it this one? No. There you go. There's the image. I posted this thumbnail on Instagram and stuff recently as a sneak peek of an upcoming video, and I wanted to see what people thought about it. So if you can see this, awesome. If not, it's an image of, it's a thumbnail for a video, and it's a picture of me sitting on an electric scooter with holding my cane out in front of the scooter. So like I'm riding on the scooter has baskets, and I'm using the cane out in front of the scooter, and it's just a plain background. And then in very large letters, it says WTF with a question mark. So I thought this was funny. I wanted to see what people thought about this.
Yeah. And if you're offended by it, you can blame me because he asked me first. And I said, I think it's hilarious.
What the frick? That's what it stands for.
Yes. What the fudge?
So yeah, that's an upcoming video soon, which is a lot of fun. Kind of harkens back to my when I made the lawnmower video, which was a very popular video, like how I cut my grass using a lawnmower. And the thumbnail was me with a cane out in front of my lawnmower.
I don't remember that. I mean, I remember you doing a video, but I don't remember the thumbnail.
I still talk to people that were like, that was my favorite video you've ever done, was the lawnmower video. I should do that as a blind rewind.
Yeah, you should. I want Sam to reach out to some of the robot lawnmower people and see if we can get one of those for him to try out, because he does still mow. You actually did a great job mowing the other day. But sometimes I think it's very dependent on how sunny it is and shadows and stuff like that as to how many strips he misses when he's mowing.
Yeah, I talk about that in that video, that it really depends on the time of day, how successful I am. But I'm working on it. I'm reaching out to companies. We'll see.
Yeah. Johnny Smith was asking how to contact you, which the best way is via email, sam@theblindlife.net. But I will warn you, Sam gets a lot of emails. So he is constantly trying to catch up on emails. So it's not always, same day response or even next day response.
And you can also contact through the website, theblindlife.net.
Yeah.
There's a contact page there too.
Joker Alice said the guys from Double Tap tried the new version of the Glide and they say it's been improved.
Yeah, I figured it had been. Like I said, it was still prototype-ish when I tried it, and it was kind of clunky. So here's another thing too, because I saw them at CSUN. I stopped by and said hello to them. They were actually based, or they had their little setup right next to Glidance, who makes the Glide.
Glidance.
Yeah, so I saw them, people testing out the Glide, and one thing I will say is it's kind of loud. I mean, it's clank, 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 clank. I mean, these motors and the navigation system, it rattles. So as you're walking,
it sounds like the kid's popper toy as well as looks like it.
It looks and sounds like it. We just need to paint it white and red and blue. Yeah, no, but so I don't doubt that it's been improved. When I tested it out, I was like, I'm just going to let it take me where it wants to take me. Jesus, take the wheel. And I was like, I'm just going to push and it's going to take me. And it took me like uncomfortably close to people that were standing there. Like it would take me around them, but it would just barely around them. And I'm like, excuse me, pardon me, sorry. It took me behind people's booths a couple times. So I would hope that it's been improved.
Yeah. A couple Weiwok 2 questions. Rebecca asked, how do you find the setup and the battery life? I heard some people had significant issues with this when it first came out. And Manuel Velasco said, what are the specs for the Weiwok cane and how much time does the battery last typically?
So the battery life was my only critique, only real critique about the Weiwok. It's not great right now, but I think in April, not April, maybe this month or maybe May, beginning of May, they are going to be putting out an update that's going to improve the battery life. The battery life is just not great because the battery is inside the handle, and so it makes sense. There's not a lot of room in there, so it can't be a very large battery. I don't know like how long it lasts, but I know that every time I wanted to go out and get some clips of me using it or test it, I had to charge it up first. So, but that was only like going out once a day. So, you might get a day's worth of battery life. Now, if you're a heavy user, you're using a lot of the AI and all that kind of stuff, it's going to go down much quicker. But specs, yeah, I'm not sure battery life. The weight is like 40% lighter than the previous model. So they've improved that. It's a better sensor. It's a better speaker, better ergonomics. They've got physical buttons now instead of a touch screen.
It doesn't look like a dustbuster anymore.
It doesn't look like a dustbuster anymore. It looks like a real cane. It's a real boy. I'm a real boy. So yeah, like I said, they've improved everything, and it's still using Ambutech canes. They still give you the option to, modify your own cane and use the Weiwok handle on your own cane. So if you have a favorite cane, you can do that potentially.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So and then you also get a Pathfinder 360 rolling ball tip on the cane, which is Ambutech's newest tip that everybody's loving. So it's a 360-degree rolling tip. So yeah.
Okay.
It's waterproof now, which is great.
Farming Blind with Ducks suggesting that you do a live riding on the scooter.
I don't know. I it was hard enough recording myself while riding on the scooter. I'm gonna encourage. So I'm working with an editor now, and I'm gonna encourage the editor to keep the clip in of me. As soon as I jumped on the thing for the very first ride, I ran over a dead squirrel, and oh no, it might have been a rabbit. I think it was a rabbit. I know it's sad and all, but I didn't do it. It was already dead. But you could tell in the picture, it's only 12-inch wheels. So rolling over something that size at speed, it almost threw me. I almost went down. But it made for a great video clip.
I'm sorry.
I know.
DJ Poncho was wondering if anyone from the community can propose an accessible video editor for an absolutely blind person. I don't think you have an answer to that, do you, Sam?
No, I don't think there's a fully accessible. What helps though is if you Kayla with a C did a video about this a long time ago, where she talked about how she edits her videos, and I think she was using an iPad, so it was like iMovie or Final Cut or one of those. But she talked about doing certain things during the recording to help later on when you're editing, and that's doing a lot of audio cues. So starting and stopping your clips as soon as you're ready. You say something like action. Hi, my name is Sam, and today we're talking about blah 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 blah. Cut. So that when she goes to edit later on, she can find that part where she said action, and then she can go like a couple frames, just using like the arrow keys or something after the word action, and do her cut right there, because she knows that's the very beginning of her clip. And then she could go a couple frames in front of the word cut and cut the clip there. So it's editing based on certain vocal cues or auditory cues as well can help. Now, finding an accessible video editor, that's a tricky part.
Farming with Duck also said that he mows his yard and he can give it a great mohawk, which Sam does that at times as well. What's your favorite navigation app, Sam?
Honestly, I'm using either Google Maps or Apple Maps. There are some. Weiwok is a navigational app, but I think you need a subscription. You get it free if you get the cane. There's Lazarillo on Android is pretty good. Some people use Soundscape, or what's the other one? I'm drawing a blank on the iPhone one that a lot of people love. Maybe we can poll the audience here, poll the viewers, the chat. You guys let me know your favorite navigational app.
Also, FYI, Carrie put iMovie, Final Cut, Reaper, Clipchamp. All are not perfect, but has decent screen reader accessibility. But she said Reaper is super complex, though.
Yeah, Clipchamp is a basic Windows based. So Final Cut, iMovie, those are for Apple.
Randy Hyatt said Soundscape. Larry said Apple Maps. Rebecca said UK Android is their favorite navigation app. Oh no, for UK Android, their favorite navigation app is Dot Walker.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dot Walker, I like that name. Elliot was asking, do we know of any version of YouTube, possibly like a third party or otherwise available, that's more accessible, especially for viewing live streams? I don't. Do you, Sam, know of any more accessible way of watching YouTube live streams?
No. I know there are third-party YouTube apps out there, but I've never played around with any of them. I
mean, the reason why I am on the live streams is because Sam would not be able to keep up with the chat.
Yeah.
Not while also filming. You would see the top of his head the whole time.
You'd see me leaning into my monitor trying to read stuff, or trying to be quiet while I'm listening to the chat being read out to me. Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah. It's not. I honestly, those of you that are low vision and that are following along the chat, kudos to you, because I don't know how you do it.
But I would say that's not the only reason you're here, Rachel. We love you. That's why you're here.
That's not enough. It's because you need me.
And we need you. Get back to work.
Carrie said that she finds desktop easier with a screen reader. Carrie, are you talking about the YouTube live stream, doing it on desktop with a screen reader? I would think so. I find live stream, if you're trying to follow the chat, I find it easier on a desktop than the phone, just for not low vision stuff, but just in general, I find it easier as well. Joker Alice said Soundscape is actually dead.
So I guess I haven't checked it. It did get it's formerly a Microsoft app, and they discontinued development on it. They killed it. But then it got picked up by a Scottish nonprofit and essentially re-released as basically the exact same thing. And like you could search and it was still called Soundscape. Now that was like 2 years ago, maybe. So I still have it on my phone, but I haven't checked in the App Store or anything like that recently, if it's still there.
It also said that on iOS, a really popular one is Voice Vista. Voice
Vista.
Oh, maybe Voice Vista. Okay.
Yeah. It's killing me trying to think of that other app.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Finally, Fabulous said that Premiere Pro was okay, but some of the buttons weren't being read out by the screen reader, JAWS.
Premiere Pro is terrible for low vision. I tried it. I was on Sony Vegas Pro, and then when I wanted more functionality, I looked at Premiere Pro, and it was just, everything is tiny. I mean, all the Adobe After Effects, they're all kind of similar, where all the little icons are tiny, all the tools are tiny, and it's super spread out. So I switched to DaVinci Resolve, and that's what I've been using ever since. And it's not tons better, but I've also gotten it customized with keyboard shortcuts that work for me, which I know you can do with Premiere as well. But and maybe if I had given it more time, I could have figured it out. But I just like, no, this is not. I don't want to deal with this.
Dale Zalesnik said that Voice Vista replaced Soundscape. So, Blindly Fabulous said that they use a second device, their phone, to try to keep up with the chat for live streams, but it does obscure their face a lot, which that's what you would have to. I feel like the thing that would probably work best for you would be, like you said, to put a earbud in your ear and listen to the chat. But the problem that makes it hard too is that the text chat is delayed from the video. So we're constantly going like back in time and then back and forth. That makes it kind of confusing. I feel like that would be more confusing coming in your ear, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
Blind Striker is asking what your thoughts are about the new smart glasses that will detect obstacles.
Detect obstacles. Well, I'm not sure which ones you're talking about. So there's obviously everybody knows about Meta Ray Bans. There's another new smart glasses called Echo Vision. Carrie's done a lot of interviews with them and talked about those glasses. I got demos at CSUN this year, and they're pretty. It's pretty cool. I really liked the live AI functionality that they have. The people recognition worked really well. I just liked a lot about it. They're still in prototype. Like they can't send me one for a review because they only have like 3 working devices, and they're still kind of like 3D printed. So they're still very new, very early. I saw another pair of quote unquote smart glasses at CSUN. The guy was just walking around and he like grabbed me in the hallway and pulled me to the side and said, "Hey, you want to try these out?" So I didn't get any video or anything about them. I don't know anything about them other than on the temples, they have vibrating motors. And so it kind of works like Weiwok or like the Sunu band, where there's a camera on the glasses and it's identifying obstacles in front of you. And then there's vibrations, very, very light vibrations on your temples. And so if, there's an obstacle as you're kind of panning your head back and forth, you can gauge where it is in real life based on which side is vibrating. It could also be, I'm sure they'll also use it for navigation. Like if I need to take a right turn, the right temple is going to vibrate, letting me know I need to take a right or something like that. That was really cool. I really was impressed with that. Much, I like that much better than all these wearable harness type things that people are trying to come out with, like the strap, which strap is dead now apparently, but I thought that was terrible. So I really like that, but it's still apparently brand new. But I don't know of any others that do like obstacle detection.
Okay. Joe 55 asked me if you have to do all the cooking now that we have the Brava. And Sam already did most of the cooking, so that hasn't changed.
I worked for like 15 years in restaurants, so I'm more of the chef in the family, I think. Yeah. But I'm not really a chef.
Plus, he judges me in the kitchen, so I try not to.
Like Gordon Ramsay in the kitchen over here.
Randy was asking, do you know where you can buy a Sunu band? But I don't think you can anymore, can you?
I've got a couple. If you want one, I'll give you a good deal. I need to start like an eBay store for the blind life. Slowly accumulating these things. No, you can't. I don't think you can. I don't know if anybody still sells them. You might find distributors that still have stock, but Sunu's completely dead. They're not doing anything anymore. They put out that letter last year that the company was being closed.
Sorry, I'm just going through here. Johnny Smith is asking how you reach out to different people to get a product to try out. And honestly, Sam rarely reaches out to people. They usually reach out to him. So if you are reaching out to people, you just send out emails, right?
Yeah, and I tell this to people all the time. There's really no big secret to it. Like I'm going to be doing a video about these sunglasses, really cool sunglasses, because one of my channel members recommended it during one of our calls. And so I just went to the website and you scroll down to the bottom where they have all their links and stuff. And I go to contact us and, or about us or something like that, and look for a way to contact either their marketing, I try to find marketing information, but contact somebody. And I send them an email and say, look, this is who I am. This is what I do. I'd love to, possibly work with you, feature your product on my channel, blah, 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 blah. It's really about showing them that working with me will have a positive benefit to them, because that's all they care about. They're trying to sell products. They're trying to get their stuff in front of more people. And so you have to prove to them that you can do that. So a lot of people I write to these people and they don't never write back. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but you're just not big enough yet. You have to have an audience in order for them to want to work with you, for the most part.
Yeah. And unfortunately, if the product isn't really, if the intended audience of the product is not people with low vision, those companies probably don't understand that it's such a niche group that Sam has a very big channel for this niche, but in the big scheme of YouTube, he does not have a big channel at all. And if they don't understand that, they're going to look at that and be like, you're not big enough. You don't have a big enough audience. But for the audience of visually impaired people, Sam has a very large audience, but they don't know that if that's not an area that they are used to targeting.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I'll send out these emails and I won't hear anything back either. But sometimes
that happens semi-regularly.
Yeah. And but the sunglasses people, they were super cool. They're like, yeah, this is awesome. We'd love to work with you, and here, let me send you a big case of them or something. I need to make that video still.
Yeah, you do. That was really cool though, that they did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the timing of it was perfect too, that you would just happen to be going to that thing, and who doesn't want to contribute to kids with, blind kids?
Yeah. What we're talking about is I went to a camp for blind kids, and I just happened to be reaching out to them right before this camp. And I said, look, I'm going to be going skiing, and these sunglasses are really for adventure stuff. And I said, I'll have a great opportunity to get some cool shots of me skiing wearing the sunglasses, and it's this camp for blind kids out in Colorado. And, they said, that's awesome. This is, exactly what this company was founded on. So we'd love to help. We'd love to donate sunglasses to all the kids at the camp. And they did. They sent us 35 pairs of their sunglasses. Their sunglasses are the ones they sent were $100 each, $95 each. So they sent all those sunglasses for the kids, and it was super cool.
Yeah, you should share the brand, Sam, because that was
it's Sunski. Well, I was going to wait. You got to watch the video. But no, it's Sunski, Sunski, Sunski.
They're cool looking glasses too. You liked them. You've worn them you've worn them a decent amount since you got home.
Yeah, I've been wearing them in a lot of the videos. My Weiwok video, I'm wearing them at the end in my big wrap up at the end of the video. I wore them in my Navi badge, Field 'em bag video. So I've worn them in several videos.
Joe 55 is wondering if your new telescopic cane is interchangeable with other, there's a word that I don't know, tips. AMTE?
Ambitips.
Okay.
Yeah. No. So it's a threaded, and it's not the same thread diameter or whatever that Ambitech uses. It's unique. Now, I have two of those canes now. One is a fixed kind of metal tip. The original video I did, which that tip is terrible. It's kind of a soft metal, so it gets scuffed up pretty quickly, and it gets caught on everything. And that was my biggest critique about the cane, was that tip. But someone sent me a link to basically the same cane with a rolling marshmallow style tip. And that was my follow-up video I did, was about that tip. And it's better. It's still not like Ambitech rolling marshmallow quality, but it's better. But no, you can't, as far as I can tell, you can't switch them out with anybody else's tips, which is a bummer. I'd love to have that cane with just a simple, a Ambitech metal glide tip, my favorite tip, or their ceramic tip. That cane would be unstoppable. the one cane to rule them all. The cane of power. That's a nerdy joke right there.
A very niche, nerdy joke.
That's a nerdy blind joke right there.
Elliot just had a good point. He was talking about, besides this channel, he subscribes to several other channels that are very different that have interactive live streams. And so he always introduces himself as visually impaired and asks for, if people are interacting with him, to tag him with the @ and then his name. And that's a good suggestion for anyone in this chat. If you're wanting to respond to someone else in the chat, use @ and then if you start typing their name, it will fill in with the options that match that. So like Elliot, for example, if I type in the @ sign and then EL, his profile pic and name pops up and I can click on it and then it will tag him in the chat. And that will make it, that makes it easier for people to keep up and know that you're trying to have a conversation with them. So, which I know some people do that. I've seen it in here. Which, Elliot, that reminds me, did you notice someone asked if they could reach out to you about the NRA stuff? If you didn't see that, I don't remember. Let me see who it was. Scrolling up. Well, I'm not sure who it was, but whoever it was, it was JP Patterson. So JP Patterson wants to get in touch with Elliot about that stuff. So, all right, sorry.
Real quick, while you're doing that, Rach, I can talk about some upcoming stuff.
Yeah, go for it.
So, upcoming trips for the Blind Life. I have an opportunity, which is super cool, to speak on a congressional briefing in Washington, like on Capitol Hill. I'm kind of, it's pretty cool. The Foundation Fighting Blindness, I believe, is going to be there. It's encouraging Congress to continue research into clinical trials and stuff for treatments for
continued funding.
Continued funding. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And not cut the funding for these types of things. So it's pretty cool. I get to speak about kind of my personal user experience and all that. So that I doubt is going to be open to the public, but this July, I am going to once again be at the NFB conference, which this time it's going to be in New Orleans. It's July, I think, I'm going to be there the 8th through the 15th, I think is what I'll be there. Or no, the 11th through the 15th. And it's going to be in New Orleans at the New Orleans Marriott. And I will be helping out once again at the IRI AT booth, which one of my favorite distributors of all this cool, fun stuff, IRI AT, based out of Oregon. Great group of, it's a family-owned organization, so the family and all the people there, just wonderful people. I'm going to be helping out at that booth, and of course, walking around the exhibit hall and that sort of thing. And there's a chance I might be up for an award by the foundation or the federation, excuse me, that will be announced on the last day, which is Sunday. I think that's the 15th. So I'll be there for that as well. So if anybody's going to that, would love to have you stop by and say hello, or you might see me walking around with a big old camera at some point. Stop.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to stop and say hello.
The blind guy said New Orleans in July, bro's going to be sweating.
I know. I almost did both ACB and New Orleans back to back. And ACB is going to be in Dallas, so that's not any better. But I decided that was going to be like 10 days straight of conference. And I was like, I don't think I can do it. It's so much fun. I love doing conferences, but it's exhausting. Especially if your
voice could handle it for that many days.
No. If you're working a booth, you're talking all day long. So yeah. So I decided just NFB.
Yeah, wasn't it just last year that you did both of them? It wasn't as many days, but it was crazy hectic.
No, I just did NFB. A lot of the distributors did both of them because that was the first year that NFB and ACB were not only in the same state, but they weren't overlapping. There was so that the distributors could go to NFB and then they were both in Florida. So then they went to the other city in Florida and did ACB.
Okay. Well, was it what was it the year
Oh,
before that? And you went from Chicago down to somewhere.
yes, I went to Houston, and I only did that. Yeah, I had my own booth at ACB in Chicago, and then I went down for one day to NFB, and one day and overnight, and then flew back to Chicago. And yeah, that was a lot. It was
Yeah.
fun. I really enjoyed it. It was cool to see the difference between the two conferences back to back. But yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, the blind guy asked, what do you think about bioptic lens driving for those of us with Stargarts, and also any opinions on autonomous driving vehicles?
I think they're great. I mean, if I recommend this to my clients all the time. I was just talking to someone the other day who the doctor says she had about another year of driving, and then she was going to have to give it up. And I said, well, look into bioptics, because maybe that'll extend that a little bit longer. I think the bioptic driving program is fantastic. My brother-in-law, my sister Tawny, her husband Danny, who's been on the channel many times, he's a bioptic driver. They live down in Alabama, and they've driven to our house. He's driven to our house a couple times using the bioptics. It's really expanded their life and what they can do in his business and that sort of thing. One colleague that I work with is a bioptic driver. So yeah, I think it's great if it works for you. You know, everybody's vision is going to be different, and also everybody's comfort level is going to be different. We talked about this once before, that even if I was eligible for bioptics, you know, would I have the confidence to drive, you know, after not driving for so long? It's like, I don't know. But if you can, then yeah, I think it's fantastic. And then autonomous vehicles, yeah, sign me up. I can't wait. I'm ready. Not only that, but now they have autonomous drones, you know, and not self-flying, but personalized flying vehicles, PFVs, and essentially just like a drone motorcycle. And you get one of those that can fly me where I want to go. Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, you'll have to figure out how to pay for it.
They'll send me one. They'll send me one for free to test.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't see that happening.
We'll build a little landing pad in our tiny little backyard.
Okay, Sean Howard is wondering if there is a Bluetooth remote that works well with voiceover for media consumption or basic navigation.
Yes, and I don't know if Sean, you sent me an email. I got an email about this just like yesterday. Somebody was asking me about this. So we just got two in the office where I work. They are very simple, not expensive. I think one is like $30. One was like $50. They're little remotes. It's about the size of maybe two decks of cards side by side, about that size. Like a postcard, maybe that size. And I think they're originally supposed to be for video editing, but they are just programmable Bluetooth remotes that can be programmed with all the systems: iOS, Android, Windows app, Mac OS. And it comes with an app. You just download an app and you use that to program the functions. So we're playing with them at work for voiceover training, not training, but people who just can't get a hang of voiceover or talk back. Maybe they can use one of these and use physical buttons and switches and knobs and stuff to control their phones. But I don't remember the names. My colleagues have gotten them, and I haven't had a chance to play with them yet. But I bet if you just go on Amazon and you kind of search, we got them through Amazon. So if you just search for some keywords that kind of fit that product, you could probably find them.
Okay.
They're very simple.
Javier said July 8th through the 13th are the actual conference dates.
Yes.
Ricky May said, I'm going to be in NOLA in August. My Canadian bacon is going to be poached. It can't fry because it'll be too wet.
Take it easy.
The blind striker wants to know, when are you guys going to ride segways and fight each other with Steven's light sword blind canes?
Oh yeah. Sent me this email the other day. I should.
Cindy said hello from San Antonio, Texas.
Howdy. That was my Texas.
And Bethany Boring said, hey, glad I caught you live.
Awesome. Welcome.
Another channel member. Ricky May, also channel member.
Yep, I knew that. Thank you guys for being channel members. You get the cool little emblems next to your name.
Yep. Larry asked, have you tried the Hable One Braille keyboard?
Yeah, I've got one actually on my you want one? I've got one. One of the things I was cleaning off a shelf the other day and I'm like, oh, I've got a Hable. I don't remember keeping this, but yes, yeah, I've tried it. And I like it, you know, if for several reasons. It's a remote for your phone. You can control your phone and that sort of thing. So you don't have to pull your phone out if you have like Bluetooth headphones on. You can keep your phone in your pocket and use your phone and stuff. But it also encourages you to learn the Braille keyboard, and you can use it for actually learning Braille and learning how to type Braille and that sort of thing. So, you know, for what it is and what it does, I like it. Whether it's the right thing for you personally, I can't answer that kind of stuff, but yeah.
Vine Striker said, are you beta testing the Neptune app currently?
Nope. No, I have not looked at it. I know he is. Yeah. Neptune is like a TikTok. TikTok, not wannabe, but that's kind of when TikTok was threatening to go down. That's where everybody was looking at. One of the apps they were looking at migrating over to.
Okay. Okay, so I think I caught up on chat. If anyone had something important that I missed, because we've had a really active chat today, which has been great.
Yeah.
Because
fantastic.
We didn't really have a set topic to discuss. So that was great. So we have been on here for an hour and a half, so we're probably going to wrap it up soon. But if you have anything that I missed that was important that you really wanted Sam to address, then please put it in there one more time. And then Sam, I think I may have interrupted you before you finished with upcoming stuff. Did I? And if so, did you have anything to add?
Well, just to kind of throw out some more, another trip. Rachel and I are both going to Iceland. Yeah, sorry, I almost said New Zealand. That's not right. Iceland. We're going to Iceland in September, we think, and I'm going for an AT kind of a conference. So if you are in Iceland, we'd love to see you. Very excited about this trip. So I will obviously be doing more updates and stuff through like my YouTube community posts and things like that.
And Instagram. You have very few details at this point, but
yeah, I just know that it is officially confirmed. We will be there, but I don't know any more than that.
Yeah, we don't have exact dates or anything yet.
And we might piggyback a Scotland trip while we're over there as well. Not necessarily for the Blind Life, just because we've always wanted to go to Scotland.
Not at all for the Blind Life, actually.
Yeah. So, but at that, upcoming videos. So I've got, as I said, be looking out for the Blind Rewind series. Going to revamp that. I'm going to be doing updated videos on the Patriot Viewpoint, which is Patriot's VR style wearable, which is still possibly my favorite wearable, VR style wearable. We've got some new features on that. I'm going to be doing a video about that. Going to be doing, just confirmed, a video talking about the updates to the Maggie IVR, which is the VR style wearable that uses an iPhone, including talking about their TV Connect box, which is their media streaming, which I got a demo of it at ATIA and it was super cool. I'm excited to do a video about that, showing off the updates of that. Video about the studio tour video, like I mentioned earlier, is coming out. The sunglasses video is coming out. A really cool video magnifier stand that turns your phone into a video magnifier, and it's extremely affordable. That is coming out. I just recorded that yesterday, and so that will be coming out soon as well. So lots of fun stuff coming out in the very near future on The Blind Life. So make sure you're subscribed and turn on those bell notifications. Subscribing, turning on the notifications, liking, commenting is the easiest way to help out the channel.
Sharing.
Sharing. You can become a member if you want, and that's great. But honestly, if you don't want to, the bare minimum, if you do those couple of things, it helps out tremendously, and we appreciate it.
Yeah. Let me see here. I think there. Bethany Boring asked, "What's the best AI you've been using? They can't get Ally to behave like yours does."
One thing that drives me crazy about Ally is that it's always listening. And so if you're in a crowded place and it'll try to start to answer you, but then it'll think you're talking and it'll stop and then listen to you, and it drives me crazy. They need to figure out a way to make it stop listening. But the best, I don't know if there is a best. I use ChatGPT a lot, just the free ChatGPT app on my phone. We went shopping this morning in the grocery store and we were looking for this specific protein shake. And I got on ChatGPT and I said, in a normal Kroger's, where could I find the protein, pure protein or whatever it's called, premier protein shake? And it said, well, normally you would find it in this aisle, or maybe it's going to be in this aisle. And it did help us to kind of narrow it down. So I use it for all kinds of things. The AI on the Meta Ray-Bans works pretty well. It's a little bit, it kind of summarizes a little bit. It gives you the bare minimum, but it's hands-free. You can just talk to it and all that. So that's nice too. So
Blind Striker said they would recommend putting Ally in walkie-talkie mode.
Where you have to actually push the button. That's probably
In crowded places like that. That makes sense.
That does make sense. I don't know why I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and Duck said that ChatGPT is the same way in a crowded room. You have to mute it and unmute it when necessary.
Yeah.
Well,
incidentally, actually, on that topic, Farming with Duck. You guys go to his YouTube channel. I'll give him a plug. He has the monthly subscription to ChatGPT, the ChatGPT Advanced or Pro or whatever it is, where you get the full ChatGPT 4.0 conversation, and it's incredible. Some of the things he's shown. He has a video where he's wiring up a plug, a receptacle in like his shed, and he's using his phone. And it's like, okay, which wire do I do now? And it's like looking and it's like, well, it looks like the red wire is the next one. You're going to plug that into the red spot down there at the bottom. And he's like, okay, now, and it's like he has an assistant standing there helping him wire up this plug. It's really incredible. So you can check that out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Visions. Sam, are you in a rush to get off here? Because there are several more questions that are popping up.
That's fine.
Okay. Visions Compass said, do you choose to use blind or vision impaired or something else? And how do you combat the skepticism of your situation?
I often just say I'm blind. And it's kind of that, it's a personal thing, what terminology you want to use. And if you want to use person first terminology, I am a person who is blind. I'm not a blind person. I don't really get into all that. I'm old school and I'm kind of lazy. I'm just like, I'm blind. If my thing is, if the government deems me legally blind, then I'm just going to say I'm blind. It's easier. Now that does come with people not understanding that blindness is a spectrum, and just because they think blind means totally blackout blind, and so you might have to have that discussion with them, and it's totally fine. I don't mind doing that. I'm never a jerk about that. I just kind of like, it's an opportunity to educate. But I don't get too much skepticism. I do get people. They're more like, wow, you don't quote unquote look blind, or it's amazing how quickly you move around here. And I'm like, well, I've been doing it for a long time. I'm really good at being blind. Like that's what I excel at. What are your strengths? Being blind. That's what
I'm good at being blind.
in fact, I still haven't made it, and I keep saying it. I've been saying it for years. I need to make this design. Nobody steal my design, but I'm going to make a shirt that says, "I'm blind, but it's not my first day," because so many times, especially in airports, people are like, okay, escalators coming up. Watch it. You're about to get. I'm like, I know. And that's what the cane's for. You don't have to tell me. And I want to be like, I'm blind, but it's not my first day. Okay. So I don't really deal with skepticism too much. I guess I'm fortunate in that regard.
Okay. Kent Poodles for Me, also a channel member, said, "Hi Sam and everyone. Will you be reviewing the Solos smart glasses?"
Yes, yeah, and I'm kind of talking with them. I need to send them an email actually. Thank you for reminding me. But yeah, I'm gonna try and get my hands on those to see if they are viable at all. They're not necessarily for the visually impaired, but they might be helpful. I don't know. That's kind of one thing I do is I look at just general consumer products and see how can these be adapted or how can these be helpful for the blind.
Okay. Several people were asking about Duck's channel. I put a link in the chat there of what it is.
Yeah, farming with duck. Duck's
I think it's Farming Blind with Duck.
Oh, farming blind with duck. Duck's a cattle farmer in Tennessee.
And it's not Doug, it's Duck, like quack quack, DUCK.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
People were getting it confused with Doug. Alex Potter said, "I've just caught this at the end. Is it recorded to watch later?" It will be available like as soon as the stream ends. I don't know how long it takes, but very shortly after that, it'll show up as available to rewatch.
Yeah. Yeah. It might be I think there's a tab for live streams on my YouTube, but yes, or it might just show up as a regular video. I forget.
I can't remember. I think on a laptop it's a tab, but I'm not sure on mobile if it's a tab or if it just shows
I think
up.
it is. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so weird because the vast majority of my YouTube watching, I watch on our TV, which is completely different. So it's like I don't know how to find anything other ways. Okay. Also, I forgot who it was. Someone earlier asked if we like Ale 81, and personally, I think it's disgusting.
I don't mind it. Yeah, if I'm like craving a soda and there's nothing else, I'll drink it. But no, it's not my go-to. We're not native Kentuckians. Both of us are imports, though. So
yeah. I think you have to grow up with it in order to like it. That's my personal opinion. I think you have to have. That's the only way to get a taste for it.
Yeah, Ale 81 is kind of like a ginger ale type Sprite mixed with ginger ale kind of type of a soda for anybody that's not familiar with it.
Okay.
And they love it here in Kentucky.
Yes, they do. It is like the official drink of Kentucky. RMKOFMD was asking, where can we see you and Foundation Fighting Blindness testify before Congress? I'm not sure if it'll be available. And to clarify, he most likely will not actually be testifying before Congress. He'll probably be talking to aides, right?
Yes, it's a congressional briefing, which means that we're going to be in a room with a bunch of aides. Yes, congressional aides. So a bunch of people in their 20s probably, but which the group that's organizing this, they do this quite often. And they did say that, make no mistake, though, a lot of the decisions that get made in Congress start with the aides. That's like they're the ones that bring this information to the bigwigs and recommend that the congressmen and women look at this and take it seriously. So apparently it's the right path to get stuff done in Congress is to go through the congressional aides. But I don't think, I know. I thought that at first. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be in the big room and I'm going to be talking to the group. But no, I think it's going to be like a luncheon with like 20 people. I don't think it's going to be open to the public. I'll post about it on my stuff when I know more about it, if it's going to be available for people to join.
Dale Zalesnik said, what's the best way to mow my lawn with Stargarts? Which I just brought it up because Sam actually has a video about how he mows the lawn. And so you can probably search that. I'll try to find the link for you and I'll share it in here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I talk about, using the angle of the sun to create shadows on your lawn, to have like a high contrast line that you can follow. I talk about growing your grass long so that when you do cut it, there's a stark difference between the super long grass. And so it's all about creating contrast for us to follow. I did a follow-up video. It's not in that original video, but where I talked about using high contrast road cones, like yellow. I got yellow ones from like Lowe's, and I would put them at the start and the stop of my line of cutting the grass. And when I got to the end, I would just move the cone over, and then I'd go to the next cone and move that one over and go to the next cone. And so you can kind of like aim for the bright colored cone. And that's another way you can do it.
Ricky just said, I thought Kentucky's drink was bourbon. And yeah, I think you're right, Ricky. I think ale
It
8, they're different. And I think some people drink bourbon in ale 8, honestly, which sounds double disgusting to me.
That's like the Uber Kentucky drink.
Yeah.
But then there's also the mint julep at the Derby.
Yeah. Dale, I tagged you and put the link in the chat for the mowing video. Louis said, I love the no jab cane. I think it's a sweet cane. I really think it's amazing. Greetings from Escondido, California, which I haven't heard about the no jab cane in quite a while. You liked it.
Yeah, I've got a couple no jabs. They're great. Ambitech actually bought the rights to that, and so now they sell the no jab cane, so you can get it through Ambitech with all the crazy cane colors and stuff.
Please try to get your hand on the new Google glasses with Gemini. The demos are amazing.
I've seen some, man. I saw one. Well, I saw the reason why I've been looking at Gemini recently in the live AI stuff is because I saw a TikTok the other day where the guy he had on his phone, but I've seen the glasses do the same thing, where this guy was just walking through his house and he's talking to the Gemini, and it's got the video, and he's like, oh, I'm just kind of showing you my new living room and stuff, and the AI is talking, wow, it looks like a very cozy place, and he just kind of sweeps past a desk and he goes into another room, and then he's like, hey Gemini, quick question, do you know where I left my Star Wars cassette? And Gemini's like, yeah, actually it was on the corner of your desk right next to your fanny pack. And odd stuff that he was looking for, I know, but he goes back into that room, and sure enough, there was just a normal Star Wars tape cassette sitting next to a fanny pack on the edge of the desk. And it's like, he just glanced right by it, and it remembered where it was. And it's like, gosh, that's the stuff that's going to be so helpful for us. And I saw a demo of the glasses doing basically the same thing up on stage. This lady's like, where did I leave my hotel room key? And they're like, it's on the shelf behind you, third shelf down or whatever. So yeah, it's going to be really cool. And I'll do my best.
Okay, you don't have those, right?
No.
I wouldn't, can just the Gemini app on my phone do that?
Yeah, that's why we need to look at putting it on your phone. I tried to get on a Samsung, but it's not available on Samsung yet. For free anyway.
I have a Google Pixel. That's why I was asking if I could do it on my phone.
Yeah.
RMK of MD said Louisville, Kentucky often appears in lists of best places to live or visit for VIPs. Do you agree? And Bethany Boring said that Louisville crosswalks are amazing. They have audio prompts. I felt right at home. I don't know. You haven't really navigated around Louisville that much, have you?
No. But that's where the School for the Blind is. That's where American Printing House for the Blind is. So it has a pretty large blind population, especially in that area of Louisville. But no, it's good to know.
Yeah. Okay, I think we have reached, I think I've gotten all the comments from here that I needed. Sam, are you doing a giveaway?
No, not today. No giveaway. I didn't plan a giveaway today. We need to do a talk back. That's the other thing that we have been slacking on. And we're going to record one here shortly, I think, and post one. Apologize for that. Haven't done one in several months. So we need to get back to doing that, and that's where we will do a giveaway.
Okay.
Yeah.
FYI, Sam, Elliot says, I have a Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus and have been an active user of Gemini for several months.
Is the video part on there though? Because I've got Gemini running on my 23 Plus, but I don't have the video component to it.
Okay.
And that's what I'm really interested in testing out.
Okay.
I'll have to look into it some more, but yeah, it didn't seem to be available yet for mine.
Okay.
But
All right. Well, it's probably time to wrap things up. We've been on here for 109 minutes. That's a long live stream.
it's the perfect amount of time. Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, thanks everybody. It's been a really great active chat in here today.
Yeah. So as always, if you need anything, let us know. Leave comments down below once this video goes out as a video. And then you can reach out through the website or sam@theblindlife.net. If you have any questions, stay tuned for more cool stuff coming out very soon.
Yep. Bye.
So, thanks, guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.